Hi everybody, welcome to Queen Esie's Diary of a Hairy Woman. In my previous videos, I talked about comparison and how to deal with it. And I also talked about my chest hair, why I decided to keep it, and why I decided to keep my body hair. So don't miss that, go watch it if you haven't. But in this video, I'll be talking about what are my thoughts on body hair. And does that mean I'm sick because I have body hair? That too, that's what I'll be talking about. And so let's get into it. So what are my thoughts on body hair? I think body hair is beautiful. I declared it, I said it. No, but really, I believe it's beautiful. I didn't think it was beautiful before, obviously, because that's what I was taught. I was conditioned to believe it wasn't beautiful. I was conditioned to believe that on women it wasn't beautiful, on women it wasn't normal, that it had to be removed everywhere, that it had to be removed. And you know, that's what I was conditioned to believe. And so today I don't believe the same thing. I changed that, and I believe that body hair is beautiful, is natural, and it's normal. And another thing is that I believe that that body hair is like another, you know, feature, characteristic that makes you unique. Like, you know, someone that has blue eyes, someone that has brown eyes, someone that has blonde hair, someone that has black hair, someone that has, you know, all of that, all these little things that make us unique, that make us who we are, you know. I have black hair, I have dark brown eyes, you know. I could have had blue eyes or another color, but instead that's what I have, and that's what makes me unique. And so for me, body hair, everyone has body hair. Every woman, every man, every person has body hair, and that's completely normal. As with the mature human body that we have, we will grow body hair. But there's some people who will have less, right? For example, like my mom, she was hairy, apparently. I don't find her hairy, but she was hairy, okay? She was hairier than her siblings, than her parents, right? So like, I'm gonna tell y'all a secret, so don't tell them that I said that, but like my aunts and my grandmother don't have eyebrows. They don't have eyebrows. Like, they don't have eyebrows. They barely have hair on their body. Like they're like, oh, look, I have hair, and I don't see anything. It's translucent. There's nothing there, okay? And so, for example, my grandfather barely doesn't have that much hair on his body as well, but he has a full beard. So, and my father is very hairy. So, but my father is Ivorian and my mother's Haitian. So on my Haitian side, people tend to not be that hairy. That's what I've noticed on my Haitian side. I don't see a lot of, you know, hairy aunties and all that. But on my Ivorian side, that's where they're much more hairy. And so yeah, so for me, it's just something that makes you different, something that makes you special, and you know, all that. So for me, I think my body hair makes me special, makes me different, you know? That's what it is. And yeah, so as I was saying, like, some people have straight hair, curly hair, you know, tighter curls, and that's what makes us different. And you know, some people have body hair, and that's way thinner, that's thicker, that's blonde. Mine is black. It's as black as the hair on my head. So it's very dark. And so for me, that's just something that adds to my physical appearance, and that's all. So that's it. That's what I think about body hair. But now let's get into, am I sick because I have body hair? Because right, we were taught to believe there's something wrong with us if we have body hair. As women, as people, there must be something wrong with us, right? There must be. Like, I've had people contact me and saying, oh, maybe you have PCOS, maybe you have Hirsutism, and I'm just like, what? Right? Okay, so I even my esthetician, she was like, oh, maybe you should go look into it, go see a doctor so she could give you some pills, because I know that some people really take pills to, you know, to reduce their body hair instead of going to go do some you know, go through some procedures like waxing and all these things. They take pills because they feel like they have hair in places that they're not happy with, or that are maybe masculine, labeled as masculine, and so they want to get rid of that. I personally did not make that decision. I did not want to make that decision. I was still learning to love myself, and I wanted to really, you know, be aware of my body, but to know, okay, do I really want to remove it? Because, you know, in my previous video on chest hair, I talk about whether I, you know, wanted to remove it truly. You know, I had to think about it, because my esthetician was always like, okay, let's remove it, let's go lower, let's remove your chest hair, and I wasn't sure. I had started liking it, right? So for me, I didn't want to go see a doctor saying, oh, there's something wrong with your body hair, because I was already convinced that that's not true. Every person has body hair, and so you can't tell me otherwise. That was a fact in my head, and I didn't feel like going to see a doctor so they could say, oh, you have this, take a pill. No, I knew I wasn't sick. And so I actually looked up PCOS to see, you know, I was curious. I was like, people say I have that probably, so I'm gonna look it up. So basically, PCOS is like a hormonal disorder, actually. So it's called, I don't know if I'm saying it right, and I have my phone here. It's called polycystic ovary syndrome. So the symptoms basically are irregular periods or no periods at all, difficulty getting pregnant, excessive hair growth, usually on the face, the chest, the back, and the butt, weight gain, thinning of hair loss from the head, sometimes oily skin or acne. So I was looking at the symptoms and I was like, okay, I don't think I have any of that. I do not have a irregular period. The only thing that I had in the list of symptoms was excessive hair. So I'm like, okay, obviously I don't have that. I don't have an issue with my period. Everything is normal. I don't have any issues. It's just that I'm hairy. That's the only thing that's an issue, quote unquote. And so I looked up hirsutism, and basically it was like, but actually in PCOS it's like your body is producing like masculine hormones, too many masculine hormones. That's what I saw. That's what it says, and which causes all these problems. And so when I looked up hirsutism, basically what they were saying is that, oh, basically your hormones, your androgens, like you have too much androgen and it causes you to be hairier than others. And it also says that hirsutism is like having body hair, like male pattern body hair. So basically having mustache or having body hair in places that a man usually has. And so for me, I personally believe, so don't quote me on that. Don't say, she's a scientist. I'm not a scientist, but that's what I believe. I believe that that's made up. Hirsutism, not PCOS. I know that's a real thing, but I'm talking about hirsutism. I feel that's a label. It's like a scientific explanation as to why certain people are hairier than others. I don't believe in, like, you know, if you have a mustache, there's a problem with you. I don't believe in that. I don't believe that. I have chest hair. I don't feel like there's a problem with me. I feel like there are a lot of women, other women that have chest hair. I've been contacted by several, more than 10, more than 20, so many that have chest hair and have told me. So imagine that. We think we're alone, but we're not alone. And when you go to the esthetician, you see some women that have mustache. You see some women that, you know, hair on their you know, a beard and hair on their chin, sorry. But like, so you know that, you know, there's so many women out there. So because if there wasn't that many women that were hairy, it wouldn't be such a big industry, right? They made us believe that because they knew they were gonna make so much money out of it, right? They made us believe there's something wrong if we have body hair. And so for me, like, there's like, for example, me, so my grandma, she also said that, you know, she was talking with my dad, and my dad was telling, you know, she was telling my dad, oh, I saw that Esther decided to, my name's Esther, Esther decided to keep her body hair. She's very hairy, and why is she keeping her body hair? And right, they were having a whole discussion, and then my dad was saying, well, she decided to keep it. She likes her chest hair and that she feels comfortable with it. And my grandma basically said she's as hairy as a Vous woman. So Vous is actually the name of the tribe that I'm from, because I'm half Ivorian, half Haitian, and my Ivorian side, I'm from the Vous tribe. And this tribe, women were very hairy. Had beards, some had had chest hair, were very hairy. And even like my auntie that you guys probably saw in one of my images, I wrote a whole paragraph, well, that she sent me, so I just shared it with you guys. So basically she's saying how it's in my family, it's in my genes. So the women in my family have a lot of body hair, have chest hair, have hair on their chin, and even beards. But she personally decided to remove it. She would, you know, she didn't like it, obviously, because in this society it's not normal, quote unquote. And even my grandma, she even said, you know, yeah, back then it was okay, but people don't do that anymore. That, you know, you don't keep your body hair anymore. But yeah, so back then, like in my great grandmother's time, it was seen as beautiful. Like it was seen as gorgeous. Women that had beard were seen as beautiful, gorgeous, and women that were very hairy, men loved it. And to be honest, I get so many DMs from men. Okay, that's kind of like a fetish, that's true, but the men that are obsessed with women that are hairy, so that's all I have to say. So for me, when I wear my body hair, it's like my ancestors breathe through me, they live through me. We see my ancestors on my body, through my chest hair, through the hair on my legs, under my arms, you know, all that is my ancestors. So it's proof of my ancestors, is them that are living through me, you know, because I come from my ancestors, you know. But anyways, so for me, that's what it means. And so I wear it proudly, right? And so even back then, if you were wearing a beard, you were like, you could be a chief because you had a beard. Like, it was just so incredible. There's so many stuff I learned. I was like, it was like a gift from God to have a beard, like a woman having a beard, you know, all that stuff. And I was so impressed. I didn't even think it was seen as that, you know. And like women that had a beard, it was like they felt like they had the authority of a man, so they were allowed to be a chief, you know. And I think that's incredible. And so it was seen as something prideful in my tribe, in where I come from. And you know, because of the, you know, the Western world, that kind of changed all that and made us believe that it's not normal and that we should all remove our body hair. So I don't know if you guys read this book, but you need to read this. It's called Plucked, A History of Hair Removal by Rebecca M., if I'm saying this right, Herzig. So I'll basically write it down in the bio, the description, so you guys can go read it. And so it's a very interesting book that really talks about the history of it all, you know, body hair, and why today we remove our body hair. And it also, you know, mentioned evolution. So people were, men in that time were saying, in the, I think the 1800s around, were saying that body hair was kind of like a sign of primitiveness. It was gross, and you know, since we've evolved, you know, we shouldn't be having body hair. In my opinion, I don't believe in the theory of evolution. I personally don't believe in it, but because I believe that the theory of evolution is basically like it's like they basically said that white people are the most superior race. That's what they said. So the browner you are, the darker you are, you're more primitive, you're more, you know, related to the monkeys, you're closer to the monkeys. And that's how it's kind of part of white supremacy. It's a theory that's been, you know, circulating around the world to make people believe that white people are the most evolved. And I've just never believed that we were monkeys. That's just me. I don't believe that we're monkeys. And so they believe that because we're evolved, we shouldn't have body hair, when body hair still has a function. We still need body hair. And so, and even like the fact that there's, you know, certain parts of the world, some people are hairier. In my, you know, in my tribe, in general, this group of people, a lot of people of that tribe were hairy, like I am today, right? And you know, some people even in South Asia, India, we've heard some stories. A lot of, you know, people are hairy. You know, the women are hairy there. That's what they say. I didn't meet a lot of Indian women personally, but that's what I've always heard. And you know, in Middle Eastern sometimes, and in certain parts of the world, that there are women that are hairier than others. And so, to me, it's not like a sickness. I don't believe that. Like, body hair is beautiful, and I feel like the beauty industry is kind of like obviously the ones that are making certain things beautiful, and I feel like we have the power to decide what's beautiful. I have the power to decide if I believe that my body hair is beautiful. And what the beauty industry does, like, you know, yesterday it was the skinny girl that was the, you know, then it was the curvier girl, and then, you know, it's always changing. And sometimes it's always changing just because of capitalism, right? What will make more money, what will sell more, right? Because now today it's the big butt, you know, and the big boobs, so they're making a lot of money in the plastic surgery, you know, all that industry. So it's all that to kind of profit the most. What is the thing that, you know, we could say that isn't okay with someone's body and we can make a lot of money out of? So like, you know, our insecurity as women and as people, when we're insecure about certain things and people constantly tell us through images that this is ugly, we'll be spending money to change it, to remove it and all that, if we're not confident in how we look in our appearance and all that. It's obviously not our fault, but we have the responsibility, the power to change that. So for me, saying that I'm sick because I have chest hair, or I have hair on my chin, I have hair on my face, I have sideburns or things like that. For me, saying that a woman must be sick, must have a disease, must have hirsutism, is the same as saying a man who can't grow a beard must be sick. That's how I see it. That's how I see it. Okay, so if I'm sick because I'm growing male pattern hair, then a man who can't grow chest hair, who can't grow a beard, who can't grow a beard that connects, must be sick too, right? That's just how I see it, right? They just didn't label it as a disease or something. They didn't say, like, you know, they called hirsutism to women that are hairy. It's hirsutism. But what's the name for a man who can't even grow a beard, right? Or can't even grow a mustache? You know, I'm just saying that. So for me, that's how I see it. I'm like, how could you say that I'm sick, but someone who can't grow a beard isn't sick, who can't, you know, grow a mustache, who doesn't have chest hair, who has less hair than me, right, on his legs or something like that, and all these things. And so, or not at all. I've met men that don't even have no beards, can't grow a beard, don't even have hair on their legs. So does that mean they're sick? I don't think so. And so that's how I see it. Body hair is a characteristic, it's a feature, it's something that makes us different. It's something that, you know, adds to our physical appearance, that makes us unique. And so that's how I see it. So with that being said, I feel like beauty could be whatever we want it to be. You know how they say beauty is in the eye of the beholder. You know, my mom used to tell me that all the time. But beauty can be whatever we want it to be. I chose my body hair. I said my body hair is beautiful because it was seen as ugly and gross. But to me, it's seen as beautiful, and I've decided that I made it beautiful. I'm making it beautiful through my art. That's what I decided. So we all have that power to do that. And so I feel like we need to make it more inclusive to others, right? The beauty industry kind of like creating little categories and what should be beautiful, what should not be beautiful. And so I feel like obviously it's growing, it's becoming more inclusive, and it needs to keep growing and include other people and more voices and people of different groups and cultures, because that's very important. And for me, it's even more important, the body hair thing. That's just me. Obviously it's important because I have body hair, but it's so important because so many women think they're alone. Like, obviously I'll think I'm alone if, you know, I thought I was alone because I was surrounded by women who were removing their body hair. So for me, in your mind, when you see everyone doing it, you'll think it's normal to not have body hair. But if everyone around you wasn't shaving, right? Or you saw people not shaving, you know what I mean, keeping their beard, keeping, you know, the hair on their chin, keeping their chest hair, you'd see it as something normal, as something that is just a choice. But instead, you have to remove your body hair, or you get pressure and people insult you and hate you and all these things, right? So it's a very hard decision to keep your body hair. That's a fact. For me, it was a hard decision, but I made it for myself, for my well-being. And so to end this, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and you know, keep researching as well. Like, I'm not your educator. I'm just here, you know, sharing an opinion, sharing my opinion, and what I think about it, and that body hair is beautiful, and you are beautiful, and you are unique, and that's just my thoughts. But don't just stop there. I'm not your teacher. So keep researching, keep reading books, articles. There's even one article, wait a second, there was an article I read. I didn't read the whole thing, but I read a few paragraphs that I thought were interesting. But it's called Pubic Hair Removal Practices in Cross-Cultural Perspective by Peter Gray, and I'll be putting the link below. And so yeah, so you guys will be able to read that as well. And very important to buy the Plucked book. I read it online, so I bought it online and everything. So it's a very interesting book. So with that being said, you guys are all beautiful, you guys are all unique, and don't let nobody tell you otherwise. And also, I will never say that I have hirsutism or anything. I will say that I'm hot and hairy, okay? Okay? I will never label myself as someone who has a disease unless I really do. And I don't believe that's a disease. My chest hair, I don't believe that's a disease. And so if somebody's like, maybe you have that, I'm like, no, I'm hot and hairy. I'm just a hairy girl. I'm hot and hairy. And believe that and it is what it is, okay? So anyways, have a nice day, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to watch my previous videos on comparison, on wide side to keep my chest hair, and I'll be making many more as well. So I hope you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe, and have a wonderful day.